Hello Lansing Journal community, I'm Josh Bootsma, Managing Editor of the Lansing Journal, and we're here today to keep you informed and connected as always. And we are inside M Horvath Jewelers with Mike and Mike, the masterminds behind this fine business.
Yep.
So this is one of many jewelers in Lansing. We wanted to feature you guys today. You have a prominent location on Ridge Road, and yet I imagine there are plenty of folks who have driven by and have never stopped in to say hello.
Absolutely. It's amazing. We've been here almost 27 years, and we still have people like, I didn't know you guys were here. The dollar store has brought a lot of attention to us.
Okay.
Because they've been here a couple of years, and now people notice us a little bit more. But we still have a lot of folks, we've been here long enough, you know, that know we're here. But
that's good.
Always new ones coming in. So.
Or folks who said, I passed your building for 20 years and we're going to finally stop in. So
yes.
that happens too.
And what you really do here.
Yep.
I imagine you do watch batteries.
A ton.
Hundreds.
Yes, a lot of, quite a bit.
Just on a track.
Yeah, it's pretty worn, huh?
Okay, let me see what I can do.
Yeah, see if you
You
can.
want me to leave it here or?
If you don't mind, do you mind? Normally
I'll come
do it,
back
but we're
maybe
kind
later
of.
today.
Okay, yeah, anytime.
I don't sell it, okay?
No.
I'll try not to.
I always was a retail jeweler where I had a lot of inventory. And, you know, I thought the more inventory, the more selection, you know, the more, you know, give people the opportunity to buy. But it turns out we've changed our operation. When you come in, you sit at a table, we sit and talk to you. We haven't really changed what we do. You know, people sit down and it's kind of like you're coming into our living room and we're just chatting with you, finding out what you want, what you have, and it's worked for us.
And it almost seems like we've grown the business because of this new format.
A lot has to do with
Yeah.
him. I've turned a lot of it over to Mike Jr. and he's real personable and he clicks with the people. He really does.
So clearly a family business.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about the history of the business and how you came to Lansing?
You bet. I grew up in Lansing. I lived in Linwood. We moved in 1972, my family.
Okay.
I went to TF South. I went to Northern Illinois University, and I had sales jobs. I have a business degree, and I just got so tired of traveling. And I had a buddy, Bill Crescent, of Crescent Jewelers in Lansing, and we were buddies, and we decided to go into retail together. And so we rented a store on Torrance, where the Walgreens is, and for 8 years we were partners, and then he went up the street on his own, I came down here. So I've been here about 27 years. We've loved Lansing, you know, Lansing's been really good to us.
So Mike, coming up, your dad was in business. What made you want to step into it yourself?
Well, I've always been fond of history and antiques and all of that type of watches. So I graduated college 2020 from Arizona State with a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship. And then around that time, it was tough to find a job because of the current situation. So he said, why don't you try it out for a little bit and see how you like it? And I fell in love with it. And I've been doing it ever since.
That's great.
So I've been around it my whole life, and then I finally decided to join in, and I really do enjoy it. So not only do we do brick and mortar stuff, we also sell online, specifically eBay, occasionally Facebook Marketplace. To do that, you have to have special lighting, a special camera, all of that. So what I do, we set up a completely white background, and I'll stand here and I'll take pictures of all the items. Sometimes I list 10, 12 plus items a day on eBay. So I'll take the pictures here and I'll upload them onto the website, and from there I'll list them, and that's quite a bit of our business as well.
So you mentioned your love for antiques, and just looking around here, there's a lot of historic pieces.
It's eclectic.
Eclectic. That's a good word.
Eclectic.
And I that's not something that I personally always associate with a jewelry store, right? You walk through the mall, and like I said, you see something shiny. You're not seeing antiques.
Right.
So talk about that part of your business. You're buying back gold. You're buying antiques. Explain that.
Absolutely, and it's not a huge part of our business, but we buy whatever we can possibly resell. You know, we've got we're into 2 antique malls, one in Chesterton, Yesterday's Treasures, and we're in the Highland Antique Mall. So anything that comes in that we can buy that's vintage, we'll take over there. This is how telephones could be in farmhouses and back turn of the century, you know, into the teens and 20s. It, you know, the line was attached to it. It came in a really cool piece, you know. My dad was a, what they call a vest pocket jeweler. He would go around with jewelry wares and stuff, but he was always into antiques. I remember as a little kid in the 60s, our house was filled with antiques. And same with him. So he was around it a lot.
Sure.
I was around it a lot, and that's the direction I wanted to go. This we acquired. This is a samurai sword from World War II, Japanese. And it's really, really sharp. You got to be extremely careful. It's a handmade blade, so it's very hardened and very sharp.
Josh, if you ever want to shave that beard off, I can do it with that for you. Sometimes it benefits the customers. I find a lot customers will come and say, I have a bunch of costume jewelry or a bunch of junk, and I'll go through it, or he'll go through it, and it ends up they have a lot of gold, or they have a really nice watch, or they have anything, and it turns out they walk out with quite a nice
Yeah,
payday.
where they were going to go to Goodwill and donate it.
Right.
Well,
Sure.
okay, that's fine, but have it checked. My
Yeah.
gosh, you know, we've pulled out heavy gold chains. They thought were costume jewelry, and there's $500 or $600 worth of gold in it. Some of this goes to antique malls, but we have an outside sales rep that deals with antique dealers. And so as we're accumulating this stuff, we repair it, we polish it. I'm going to show a piece that's very interesting. This is a Victorian watch fob. And it's from the turn of the century, probably 1890s. And if you can guess what this stuff is, I'll give you a shiny penny.
Guess what it is? Some sort of animal hair?
It's human hair.
Human hair. Wow.
It's human hair, and that was quite common in turn of the century. They would use human hair. They would weave it. This is a little locket. This is called a mourning jewelry, M-O-U-R-N jewelry, where you would put your relative's hair in there.
Okay.
You know, a deceased relative's hair. Yeah.
Interesting.
Here's a really interesting piece. This is 19-teens, 1920s. It's called a lavalier. Very common piece of jewelry for women in the early 1900s. Little diamond, pearls. So that's a really cool period piece.
Yeah.
Really intricate. I mean, that's when they were real craftsmen, you know, making jewelry.
It means that you're kind of history experts in.
Well, not in every,
right?
not in
it's
everything.
impossible to be everything. It really is. I just had a customer come in, and he wanted to sell some of his silver coins. From 1964 and before, your dimes, quarters, half dollars were 90% silver, and from 65 to 70, your Kennedy half dollars were 40% silver. Okay. After that, the mint stopped producing silver coins. Now, a lot of old timers would save these, especially when they knew they were coming off the silver and gold standard.
Sure.
So I buy a lot of collections of these.
Oh, it's a little booklet.
It's a little booklet. So what they would do,
Banks would give that.
banks would give them out. And so here's an example for you. These are all 90% silver quarters. And then here's dimes. So these are Roosevelt dimes. There were Mercury dimes as well, all 90% silver. And I buy them all the time for the silver value. You know, a lot of these people collected for years and years and years, and it's time for them to sell it.
Yeah.
They'd rather have the money for them.
Sure.
And so I do a lot of this.
These are ancient coins. These are Roman coins, and you know they're made out of bronze or copper. The thing with these, I don't have the expertise on ancient coins. It's just that's a subsection of coin collecting. You got to know what you're doing.
Okay.
So our expertise is U.S. coins. So we're going to send these out, and we're going to have them graded, and we're going to have them authenticated.
So that's kind of a wide spectrum. You've got someone who maybe has like a death in a family, who has a lot of, you
Right.
know, they're bringing in their antiques, they're bringing in things they don't know
Absolutely.
the value of.
Right.
To someone who is maybe getting married next year and wants a very custom piece. You guys do that
bet.
work as well.
Well, with what has happened in the last 10 years is computerization has become so important in our industry, as with any industry. And CAD, computer-aided design, is designed where you bring me a picture, I can duplicate that or get pretty darn close to it. We do a mechanical drawing of it, show that to you, and then if you say, okay, that's what we want, then we'll do a wax, which is a 3D printed wax, okay? So they print out the wax, we show that to them in person, and it's going to be absolutely duplicated. That wax is going to be absolutely duplicated. They're looking at a wax, but they get a good idea of what it is.
Yeah.
And that has made our life so much easier, because in the years past, you had to hand cut waxes, and it was a very labor-intensive thing.
It's hard to get it exactly
Oh
right.
my
right?
gosh, yes, yeah.
I don't need to tell you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Which now it's exact. So it's really made the jewelry industry. It's changed it and made it a lot easier, and it's good for the customer, because they're really getting a quality piece that is pretty much identical to what they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
The
is
little machine.
this thing hanging right here?
Yeah, that's a visor.
Go ahead and put it on.
Yeah, put it on.
That's a visor.
What's the purpose of this?
Well,
Is to see.
It magnifies by 8 to 10 times. Plus, since I'm getting older, I use it to read the paper, and I read books with it. But anyways, we use that because this implement here is a 10-power loop, a jeweler's loop. So when we're identifying diamonds, or we're grading diamonds or anything, you have to have this device to be. It's a 10 times magnification. So I get to see that diamond 10 times larger, and you have to, because I can't. The naked eye is not designed to see it.
So I've always been curious. To an uneducated eye, a knockoff is looking exactly the same as a diamond, and I say that from experience.
Yes.
How do you? What are the things that you look for when you take out one of these apparatuses and you're looking at it?
Well, there are attributes to diamonds that are only to diamonds. So there's tools. We've got a device that we put the diamond on. It tells us, but there's inclusions. There's things. There's single refractive. We look for that. I mean, there's characteristics about diamonds that you do not see with cubic zirconias, moissanite, and other simulant diamonds.
And it really just comes down to experience.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
When someone hands you a ring with a stone in it, we can pretty much tell without even looking immediately if it's going to be a diamond or a cubic zirconia or glass.
And a lot of times it depends on the mounting it's in. If it's in an old mounting, it's in a lot of cases going to be a diamond. It's not going to be moissanite. It's not going to be a CZ. But you have to have the experience of day in and day out looking at this stuff. This is a perfect example of a synthetic or an imitation diamond. It is moissanite. It's a 2-carat moissanite. Genuine diamonds on the side, but for someone who doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars, they get a beautiful piece, a lot of bling, and they'll save a small fortune on it. Yeah, so.
Now, the other route you can go with synthetic stones is a lab-grown diamond. The moissanite's a little bit different. The way it refracts light, its hardness, a little bit different. A lab-grown diamond is a 10 on the hardness scale, just like a genuine diamond. It has all the same characteristics, 100% carbon, but it's made in lab instead of mined from the ground. With these stones, you're looking at about a fifth to a quarter of the price of genuine diamonds, and I guarantee you cannot tell the difference. And I'll show you this. I'll give you an example. So that is a 4-carat lab-grown diamond. Okay.
Yeah, we have a customer coming in today to look at that, and that diamond, if that diamond was a natural mined diamond, it's a radiant. What is it, 4 carats?
It's 4 carats. So what, 20,000?
Or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas it's going to be a fifth of that with us.
Right.
So, yeah.
So a stone like that, I was pricing at about 50-some hundred on that. So it's a huge difference in price, and you're getting a beautiful stone that no one can tell the difference.
Yeah, it doesn't change colors. It's as stable as a natural diamond. It'll stay beautiful for 150, 200 years.
Well, Mike and Mike, thank you for the tour around the office today. Really a lot of stuff you guys are doing, a lot of history here, a lot of expertise between the two of you. Thank you for the tour. Before we end, what are just a handful of things that you would like the Lansing public to know, people who maybe have never stopped in before, just some things that people should know if they know anything about M Horvath Jewelers?
Well, number one, small business is shrinking. We're sticking with it. We're service oriented. We want you to come in. You'll be very comfortable. We sit at that table and we want to make you comfortable, especially if you're trying to sell your valuables and your antiques. A lot of people are a little skittish because they don't trust everybody. We make it very comfortable. We're very honest. Number two, we are a full service jeweler. We do custom work, we do repairs, we do watch batteries, do everything that a regular full service, full inventory jeweler does. We just do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You know, and you know we buy a lot of different things. Number three, and once again, if you're not interested in selling it, if you're interested in just finding value so that you can tell your relatives and other people that maybe are part of your family, you'll know. You know, you won't donate it and lose out on a lot of money. So we can help you there, and we're very happy to do that. And we're dedicated to Lansing. We've been here forever, you know, and we're planning on staying as long as our landlord will have us here, you know. So yeah, and one other thing I do want to mention, anybody who does see this video, you just mention it, and I'll give you a free watch battery, one per person. I can't afford, you guys, they have a lot of customers and people that watch, but yeah, we'd be happy to give you a free watch battery, install it, and happy to do that if they see the video. Yeah.
And we wanted to thank you as well for coming in and doing this for us.
We don't have a lot of attention from media or any, you know, politicians or anybody, so it's nice to have you guys.
And nice to show you a little bit of the ropes and show you a few things, some of the collectibles. It was an enjoyable morning.
Yeah, it was.
So thanks for stopping
very
by.
Much so. Very much so.
Certainly enjoyable for us. Thank you both.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And thank you.
We'll see you next week.